I'm Davy. I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. So in the past I've talked about how I've not only worked retail, I've worked in restaurants. And I talked about some of the annoying things we get there. One thing I didn't really delve too far into on that one is one of the most annoying things about working at a restaurant is the special orders. Now I'm not talking about little things like, hey, no onions, or hey, can you put extra pickles, or even can you put the sauce on the side so I can put it on myself. Those things don't really bother us. Whatever. That's your prerogative. Go for it. I'm not even going to talk about the times when they get way too specific. Weird crap like, okay, I want the onion diced, not sliced. Diced. I like a diced onion. It's less invasive. I want the pickles cubed. I don't want them in the little pickle chips you got. If you guys have a whole pickle back there, cut it up, cube it. I like the texture of a cubed pickle. And I want mustard, but I only want a tiny smidge of mustard on one of the corners of my burger. I only want it there. That's all I want. I just want that little dab of mustard on the one little end of the burger, at the very end of the burger, so that maybe when I take my first bite, I can be like, ooh, that's tangy. Other than that, I don't want it. If I get more than one bite worth of mustard, I will send it back. More specifically to the annoying requests. Things like, they want to order something that's not on the menu and won't accept that they can't do that. Or they want some kind of substitution that we cannot do. Or they just want us to cook it in a way that is not physically possible. And I'm going to give you the examples. First one I'm going to get into, it was annoying at the time, now I just kind of look back and it's humorous. It was when I worked at a hotel restaurant. This place was more of a fine dining kind of place. I wouldn't say it was a 4 or 5 star, definitely at least 3 stars. It was one of those kind of places that you made reservations. People didn't necessarily dress in suits and ties, but nice. Almost like a steakhouse. A fancy menu, specials that meant special. Not like when you go to a diner where it's just like today's special is the burger. Tomorrow it'll be on the menu, just not special. No, the kind of specials where you get it now or it's gone. We're not going to have swordfish tomorrow. And the thing is about a lot of these types of places, they're not necessarily open all day long. And we weren't either. We were open twice a day, 4 hours at a time. We were open for brunch, and we were open for dinner. In between those times, we were prepping for either brunch or dinner. And it was brunch. And we had a guest there who was foreign. French, to be exact. We got a lot of foreigners around there. Because this particular town was near a monument that foreigners like to come out and see on their vacations, and we were the nicest place to stay. He's in there, it's brunch, and if you haven't been to a place that has brunch, it's not what people think. They think that just means you can get breakfast or lunch. No, it's kind of infused. Yes, there's things that are pretty much just lunch and pretty much just breakfast, but for the most part, it's like an infusion. One thing we did not have on the menu during brunch was a hamburger. And that's what he wanted.
I do not understand. Why can I not have a hamburger?
I absolutely loved the way he talked. It reminded me of Inspector Clouseau. But he was just not accepting it. We only had hamburgers on the dinner menu, and it wasn't really anything we specialized in. Like, our hamburgers were really just okay. I had them a few times. I was an employee. They were cheap. But that's just the thing. They were okay. They were mostly ordered by children. Most adults who came in there ordered nicer things, like a steak or the chicken marsala cutlet, which was honestly my favorite. Or one of our pasta dishes. They were very delicious. But this guy was dead set he wanted a hamburger. And as we tried to explain to him, I'm sorry, it's not on the menu. We have none prepped. We can't make you one right now. But he would not let up.
This is absurd. No, I just want a hamburger. You cannot just make a hamburger.
Finally, at one point, went and asked the cooks. And of course they said no. And that's the thing. The nicer the dining establishment, the less they're willing to go off menu. The less they're willing to make special orders. When you go to like a 5-star restaurant, don't you dare ask them to do something differently than they think is perfection. But in this case, it really was a thing of we didn't have them ready to make a hamburger. And we kept trying to explain that to him, but would not let up.
I mean, this is America. Don't you eat hamburgers for breakfast?
Hey, that is insulting. I mean, yes, sometimes I do, but that's still insulting. The most annoying thing about this, though, was that he just would not let up.
Don't you Americans say, customer is always right?
I don't. But then after a while of arguing and us telling him, we're sorry, there is nothing we can do, you are not getting a hamburger right now, his friend who was there with him and just wanted his omelet that he ordered, finally convinced him, just order something else. So he asked for a recommendation, which I gave him. Something that we didn't have on the menu very often, but when we did, I always got one because it was delicious. It was something we prepped the night before, where we would actually roast a turkey, slice it for this egg and turkey wrap. It was amazing. Especially if you ordered your egg right. I always ordered it with the yolk a little bit runny. So think about that for a second. It's a fresh roasted turkey with an egg, bacon, cheese, a little bit of lettuce, and wrapped in a house-made tortilla. It was absolutely amazing. I recommended it to him. He ordered it. And then after it was all said and done, I bring the check and I ask, how was everything? He just had to throw it out one more time.
It was good, but it was not a hamburger.
I just let it go. But truth be told, that turkey wrap was way better than the hamburgers we sold. Next one I'm going to get into was when I was 14 years old working at a McDonald's. Apparently to other people I know, including my brother who worked at McDonald's, this actually is something that happened all the time, but only happened to me once. This person came in and wanted a substitution that was completely ridiculous, especially at the time. Nowadays, you can do this, sort of. But this person came up and ordered,
Yeah, can I have a Big Mac, but instead of the regular thin patties, can I get the quarter-pound patties?
and of course I was like, no, you can't do that. Like, there's a lot of things we could do at McDonald's. We can put extra pickles on your Big Mac. We can give you a Big Mac without cheese. People have ordered that. I imagine they're very sad people, but they've done it. But to substitute thin little Big Mac patties for the thicker quarter-pounder patties? No, we can't do that. Not just because I would actually have to go tell the cooks, who at the McDonald's I worked at did not speak English, but we had no way to ring that up. And he seriously looked at me like he knew what's what and was like,
Just charge me for a double quarter-pounder. It's a little bit more expensive.
not enough to where I think I could justify that. I'm sorry, but no, I can't do that. This guy was so insistent on us doing this for him that I eventually had to call a manager over, because at 14, of course, it wasn't me. And he finally told him that the only way we're going to do this for him is he's going to have to pay for both a Big Mac and a double quarter pounder. And this guy lost his mind, to the point that we didn't serve him anything, we just kicked him out. Like, I can't keep a PG-13 rating and tell you what he said. It would just be basically, you thieves! Why should I pay for 2 sandwiches when I only get 1 sandwich? That's basically it. And then he got kicked out. What's funny to me now, keep in mind I was 14, I'm now 39, 25 years later. Now McDonald's has got this hack menu thing going on where you can go order these things, but the thing is, that's what they got set up. They don't actually make these things for you. Like the one I reviewed, the Land, Air, and Sea Burger. They just charge you for a Big Mac, a McChicken, and a fish fillet, and you put that together yourself. My wife is a big fan of that crunchy McDouble. They just give you a McDouble and some chicken nuggets, and you put the chicken nuggets on there yourself. And I don't know if they have the menu hack for the Big Mac quarter pounder, whatever they would call it. But I imagine if you wanted it, they'd be like, sure, here's a Big Mac, here's a double quarter pounder, put it together yourself. Honestly, I can't help but applaud McDonald's for this. It's freaking pimp. Now to the weirdest special order I got. It was when I worked at a pizza place. This guy ordered from us all the time, to the point that when we saw his number on our phone, because yes, we had the caller ID thing, we'd sigh right before we answered because we always knew what he was going to ask for. This ridiculous order of,
I want a large pepperoni, but can you do me a favor and burn the top of my pizza just a little bit, but don't burn the bottom?
It got to a point we really didn't even try. We just told him we'd do our best, because not only would he order like this, but he'd always throw out,
Please try, you guys never get it quite right.
That's because of physics. Always he would send it back. Why? Because it would never be quite to his liking. We tried certain things, like we tried putting his pepperonis inside of one of the tins we'd cook a pasta in, because we had that on the menu, cooking that a little bit first, then putting it on his pizza, and putting the whole pizza in. But he didn't like that because the cheese and stuff was not overcooked, only the pepperonis were overcooked. Now, apparently he said he got this at some places, and I've known people who've worked at pizza places where they have like that rotating oven where they just put it up here, and by the time it comes out here, it's cooked. And apparently they could do what he wanted because they would just put it back around and let it come back out, and it'd usually be that way. They said they had people order it like that. We didn't have that. We had a standard pizza oven. The kind where we put it in, we come back and check on it, and when it's done, we send that big stick with the pizza shape at the end and pick it up and take it out. That was what we had. So the best we could do was just look at it, go, okay, it looks done, leave it in another couple minutes. That's all we could do. And he never liked it because the bottom was always slightly burnt. He didn't want the bottom burnt, even a little bit. And some of you may be going, then why did he just go to one of these other places? It was a small town and we were the only pizza place. This is not something we just didn't want to do. It wasn't something we couldn't ring up. It was just simply, your enemy, buddy, is physics. The funniest thing was when he finally got mad at me because he was like,
This is frustrating. You guys never make my pizza the way I want it.
that's because despite what you seem to think, we don't have like one of those creme brulee torches in the back that we're just putting over the top of your pizza. Yes, he complained, but again, small mom and pop pizza place. The owner just laughed. So there you have it. That's my story video this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to hit like, hit subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post the videos, and leave a comment. Tell me if you've ever gotten one of these ridiculously crazy special orders. Love you guys.